And with that, it's 10:03. Like I promised, we're going to get started. We have quite a lot to get through, as I was saying before. So welcome, everyone. If you're new to Community Conversations, we welcome you. But if you're a repeat visitor, hi, old friends and new friends. I'm Shelby Fiegel, the director of the Center for Community and Economic Development at the University of Central Arkansas. I'm joined today by my team, Dylan Edgell and Emily Cooper Yates, all at UCA CCD. And I also want to give a shout out to our partners, Entergy Arkansas, Tandy White, the Arkansas Economic Development Commission's Community Development Division. I know I saw Amy Williams on here. I'm sure we have a couple of AADC community development folks. And then the Arkansas State University Delta Center for Economic Development, which I don't know if Mary Margaret Jackson is on, and I don't know if Frankie and Andrew are going to be joining us, but all great partners on this initiative. We've been doing community conversations since probably almost the very beginning of the pandemic. We started up last fall, and we host hour to hour and a half long conversations on different community and economic development topics every month, just so we can connect with everybody. Zoom is, we understand, hard to pay attention to, but we try to make these fun and interactive and give some really engaging topics for folks to listen into or listen to later as we record. I also want to give thanks to all of our speakers today. We're going to be going through them one by one, but we have a fantastic slate of speakers from a variety of entrepreneurial focused organizations across the state. And so today we're going to be discussing building entrepreneurial communities. So these communities these speakers are going to be talking about resources that they offer community small businesses and leaders across the state. And without further ado, I really want to get into our slate of speakers, and we're going to go just in alphabetical order. So first up, we have the Arkansas Conductor, which is located at the University of Central Arkansas, but is in partnership with UCA and Startup Junkie. I know we got Grace Rains on. Grace, are you going to be representing Conductor?
I am.
Okay. Well, Grace, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, I'm excited to get to go first. Thank you, Shelby, for the opportunity. I'm excited to talk to you today. So if I can get screen sharing privileges, then I do have a short presentation I want to share.
Okay, you should be able to now, Grace. Oh, wait, hold on. Well, I'm just going to make you co-host. I apologize for that.
I think I can now.
Okay, good.
Maybe. Yep, I can. Okay, awesome. All right. Oh, sorry, 1 second. Sorry, I'm in a room with automatic lights and they went off. So never done that before. So that's going to be fun with this presentation. Didn't know that was. So we're running a boot camp this week at the Conductor. So I'm at UCA running a boot camp. So I'm glad this is informal, Shelby. I'm glad you started out with that. So as Shelby said, my name is Grace Rains. I serve as the Director of Operations with the Conductor. Super excited for this opportunity to talk to you guys today. So for those of you that aren't familiar with us, we are a public-private partnership between UCA here in Central Arkansas and Startup Junkie Consulting in Northwest Arkansas. I believe you're going to hear from some of my partners up there, Morgan and Taylor, a little bit later in the presentation. So they're up there and they serve the Northwest Arkansas region and do a lot of similar work to what we do, just up there in Northwest Arkansas, and have a little bit of different programs. But we really focus on innovation, entrepreneurship, talent development, and economic empowerment around the state, primarily focused in Central Arkansas, but we do have a few statewide programs that we offer as well. So this is kind of our service area. We have an 11-county service area here in the central, north central area. And our mission is to empower entrepreneurs, innovators, and makers in those areas. We do that through one-on-one consulting, technical assistance. And so we, meet with around 500 entrepreneurs a year and provide direct consulting resources to them, in addition to doing a series, a bunch of webinars and other resources on everything from technical pieces like managing your business to conversations with entrepreneurs that inspire others to become entrepreneurs. We host a variety of events around similar topics, so conversations with business leaders in the community, as well as highlighting startups to inspire others to become a startup. And then we have a slate of programs and partnerships that I'll talk about a little bit later. But the best thing about kind of the work that we get to do is building the entrepreneurial ecosystem. And so we work with a lot of different communities across our service area and across the state on developing their startup ecosystem. So how do you cultivate startups in your community? And from our perspective, we take a 4-pillared approach to do that. And so that's cultivating talent, culture, community engagement, and capital. And so that talent piece is really that economic empowerment and talent development. And so we have a variety of programs that we do around that, but just making sure that startups have the talent they need and the talent engine to really fulfill their businesses, which is why we partner with educational institutions like UCA for that young talent. And then a culture, so a vibrant entrepreneurial culture. So that's those events, bringing people together, talking about entrepreneurship as a viable opportunity, talking to people about entrepreneurship as an economic empowerment opportunity for them to continue to grow. And so, really creating that opportunity for others to collaborate together and have creative collisions. So that's a lot of what we're trying to do in the Central Arkansas area. We engage a substantial amount of our local industry. And so you'll see some of those that support us financially with the work that we do, but then also just those that serve as subject matter experts and engage with us on that level. And then finally, access to capital. And so we work, we're a Kiva trustee. We run the state's only angel network. And so providing that access to capital, as well as mentorship and expertise for early stage ventures, because that's really what the engine that helps them run and really get off the ground. Unfortunately, if they don't have the money to get started, that's kind of a barrier to entry for a lot of entrepreneurs. And so we try and, figure out where those gaps in funding are along their process and do what we can to help support capital access here in the state. So the best part about all of that is that everything that the conductor provides to entrepreneurs, innovators, and makers is at no cost. And that's because of our funding partners. We partner with the SBA, the Arkansas Economic Development Commission, some local industry partners, and others to make sure that everything that we provide is no cost. And so we work with communities to help develop their entrepreneurial ecosystem, and then we work directly with entrepreneurs, and all of those services are free. So we love getting to do everything that we do at no cost. Some of the programs specifically that we do run the UCA Makerspace here at UCA, which is a place where you can go in, CNC, laser engrave, 3D print, or use any of the tools to create prototypes of specific products or just tinker in the space. We have a master maker who works with entrepreneurs to help prototype, but then also we have a whole slate of maker mentors in specific areas that we can refer different people to for specific areas of need when it comes to innovation. We run a 10X Growth Accelerator that I'll talk about here in a little bit. We do IDFM Lives, which are pitch competitions where we'll put some capital in the hands of entrepreneurs. We have a Level Up program that I'll talk about. Archangel Alliance is the angel network that we run, as well as a variety of other programs that we support throughout the year. So our 10X Growth Accelerator is a program I did want to key in on. We recently received funding from the AEDC to start our 5th cohort, and so we'll start recruiting for that. And so if there are, shameless plug here, but if there are community or companies in your community that meet kind of the parameters, we'd love to talk to them. This is one of the statewide programs that we do. So it's a 14-week program. It's going to start in August of this year and run through November, but it's on Tuesdays from 3 to 6. It is in Conway. We're wanting to cultivate that in-person experience. But if you talk to some of our alumni programs, it's really worth the drive, even if they're driving from other areas of the state to come in. It's a competitive selection process, and eligible companies are Arkansas-based, between 100,000 and 10 million in revenue, tech or tech-enabled, and we do want C-suite level or owner level participation. But essentially, it's a scalability accelerator. So how do we think 10x when it comes to business growth? And so those applications are actually now open. We sent out a press release this morning, so you guys are kind of getting the behind the scenes look and information before anybody else, but those are, we are actively recruiting for that, and we'll be through about middle of July. And then the other program that we run is more for Main Street businesses. It's a similar type program, but we provide direct content to entrepreneurs, everything from finances, digital marketing, sales, and strategic growth, and then host panels of subject matter experts where they can do leadership roundtable type Q&A. And that is a partnership with Main Street Arkansas, and is funded by the USDA. And that's going to run February through June. So we're coming to the end of that program, but if you have Main Street style businesses in your community that could benefit from something like that, would love to get them plugged in here at the end of the program and get them access to the content. But that is my kind of whole presentation. Happy to answer questions at the end. Hopefully I didn't go over time, but that's that's it for me.
No, you didn't. Grace got done with 2 minutes under the allotted time. So good job, Grace. I could
Awesome.
tell Grace was trying to beat the clock.
I was like, I could talk for hours about this stuff. So I know that I will go over time if I just kind of keep talking. So sorry if that was a little bit fast. I was also trying to beat the clock of this thing going off. I was like, I really don't want to have to get up again and wave my hands around to make my light come back on. So
No problem. Well, if anybody does have questions for Grace, excuse me, obviously you can use the chat. We'll collect all those questions, and then at the end we'll talk about them, and we'll make sure all the links to all the programs that anybody talks about today, we'll get with our speakers and make sure we send those out to all participants after we're done. Okay, well, thank you, Grace. We're going to move on to our next speaker. So in alphabetical order, the Arkansas Economic Development Commission Minority Women-Owned Enterprise Division. We have Esperanza Masana on with us. Hey, Esperanza, you should have screen sharing ability if you need to, but I'm going to turn it over to you.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Shelby, for inviting me to be a part of this presentation. Hope y'all are listening to me okay. I am in charge of the Division for Women and Minority-Owned Business here at the Arkansas Economic Development Commission, which I imagine the majority of you are familiar with what we do at AEDC. And we are the economic development arm for the state of Arkansas. And we have a number of divisions. You know, we have a business development division that is in charge of recruiting companies, creating jobs. We have an existing business division that works with existing companies in the state. Our community development division, many of you may be familiar with it. And then my division, which is in charge of helping promote growth within the minority and women-owned businesses in Arkansas, and also including service-disabled veterans. I really appreciate the opportunity because we have 2 programs that we offer in the division, and also we have 2 other duties, if you will, that we are in charge of in the division. For those of you that don't know, very important tool for you to know if you're ever looking for minority or women-owned businesses in the state. We have an online directory, and it's probably about 1,200 companies that are listed in our online directory, and you can find it on our website under community resources, under women and minority-owned business division. I think that is valuable. It is a way for me to also promote these businesses that have actually submitted their information and they're there. So if you're ever in a position that you're looking for a particular business, feel free to go online and look at our directory. The directory also has identified, and they're broken down by NAICS codes, ownership, and so forth, but also they are divided by certified businesses. And so, which leads me to one of our programs that we offer, which is the certification program. And what does that mean? Basically, it's an opportunity for businesses within the state, whether you're a woman or a minority-owned business or service-disabled veteran-owned business, to get certified with the state. It is a process that takes about 30 to 45 business days, and you receive a certificate at the end, which, okay, what does the certificate do to me? And what value do I get with it? One of the important things to know is that the certification is like an accreditation. So when you're trying to do business with the government, whether it's state or federal, having certifications will always be helpful because it proves that you have done the due diligence to go through the process. Keep in mind, you have to have been in business for at least 2 years to begin the process. One of the perks for certified businesses is that you are part of a VIP list, if you will. And so every bidding opportunity that we receive, we push it out via email to this particular group. And one of the things that we're trying to do is to enhance the value for certified businesses to where we're working on creating a portal where all these businesses will be able to communicate with one another and post Q&A and offer special training opportunities for this particular group. Something else that you need to know as well is that for businesses that are certified, state government offers, if there's a contract out there within state government that is $40,000 or less, you don't have to go through the bidding process if you are a certified woman and minority-owned business. So that is something very good to know and important to know. Another advantage of being a certified business owner is that you automatically well, you can apply for our loan mobilization program. Now, this program is currently on hold, but we're hoping to restart it later this year. And basically what it is a loan guarantee program. So AEDC can guarantee up to 90% of a loan for a women or minority or service disabled owned veteran business. So how that works is that the business works with their bank, or we can help them find a bank. And so they go through the loan process, but we act as the guarantor for within that program. And then the other thing that we're trying to do and work within this division is to create more opportunity and networking opportunities for all these businesses, because we realize that there are so many wonderful resources out there, but we're trying to get everybody connected. You know, that is a challenge. So that is one of the things that we're definitely working on. So if you know of a business that would like to be certified, please feel free to reach out to me, and we will be happy to walk you through the process as we're trying to get more business certified in the state. And I want to close also by saying that we are also putting together our matchmaking event, which is our signature event. And the matchmaking event is a great opportunity for business owners to get connected with purchasing officials from state and local governments. And it is a great opportunity for them to be in front of them and hopefully walk out with a contract. We're hoping to do this in September, and more information will be to come. But this is our annual signature event, and we're actually hoping to host it physically, so it won't be virtual. But that, like I said, it's a great opportunity for businesses to get connected and sell their products and services.
Esperanza, thank you so much for speaking. I know I was taking a lot of notes. I'm learning through this process too. I love the matchmaking event. I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed in person, right?
Well, and I do want to thank you. And I want to use this opportunity to also say I have been in this position for 3 months. So it is most definitely a learning opportunity for me. So for those of you that touch these particular groups, women, minorities, and service disabled veterans, please feel free to reach out to me and connect, because I am also learning of all the different and wonderful things that are out there. And so we want to definitely better serve our community and our groups. And so by knowing what's out there, it also helps a whole lot. But I will definitely be in touch, Shelby, by the time we get rolling with the matchmaking, because I think that would be a great opportunity to connect. And keep in mind, you know, we serve this state with a team of 3. So in order to serve the entire state, we definitely rely a lot on our partners. And so the matchmaking is for the entire state of Arkansas.
Okay, well, thank you so much. And yes, absolutely keep me connected. I know we're getting some comments in the chat. They can't wait. Awesome resources. That's great feedback. If anybody has questions for Esperanza, like I said, at the end, if you want to go ahead and type them in, we'll collect them and share that back with all of our speakers at the end.
Yes, and Shelby, one more thing that I want to add to is it is one of our job is also to monitor minority spend, and that's something that we are trying to do a more accurate job at and reporting. As you know, state agencies are encouraged, not required, but encouraged to spend 15% in minority and women-owned businesses. One of the things that we are trying to do is just to do a better job in monitoring that spend. And so just keep that in mind, because everything is just related. And so, like I said, if anybody would like to talk more about the division, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to talk more about it.
Yeah, Esperanza, we'll get your contact information out to everybody too. And I put the link to the AADC website for the Division of Minority and Women-Owned Business Enterprise in the chat. So be sure to check that out and all those great resources. Okay, we're going to move right along on our agenda to our next speaker, the Arkansas Small Business Technology Development Center. Try to say that 3 times really, really fast. I bet you can't, but if you can, we'll get a challenge going. Whitney Horton's with us. Whitney, I don't think you have any other guests with you, but I'm going to turn it over to you. If you have anybody else, feel free to introduce them.
All right. No, thank you for having me this morning. I'm going to go ahead and get my screen pulled up real fast. I can say Arkansas Small Business and Technology Development Center 3 times fast if I need to. All right, we good? All righty. Well, again, thank you. I'm Whitney Horton. I'm the Strategic Partnerships Manager for the, like we've said now twice, Arkansas Small Business and Technology Development Center. We are a university-based program that is federally and state funded that provides, assistance to anybody looking to start or grow their business throughout the state. Historically, we've had 8 locations around the state. In the past year, we have actually grown. Right now we have 9 offices, all based on university campuses throughout the state, and we have 2 more that are actually about to open. So we kind of touch every county. We work with any types of businesses that are, from home based to, as long as you have less than 500 employees, we can work with you. A variety of different industries. As you can see from the map here, I'm based in Little Rock at the Lead Center, but then you'll notice all of the different areas where we have offices located. And so again, since we're statewide, if you know of anybody or you yourself are needing some entrepreneurial assistance, we hope that you will, save, this map or visit our website and be able to see which territory you would be in, and you can contact that office and work with us on the variety of different services that I'm about to get to talking about. Grace, I feel like you. I feel like I'm just like having to just go, because there's so much. So within our assistance, we have a variety of different services, and also our services have grown over the past year. So the main thing that we offer and that people seek us out for is our no fee and confidential consulting services. So with that, people can come in, and the main thing that we really want to do with anyone in that first meeting is discuss the feasibility of the business idea. When I say that, I don't necessarily mean feasible as in, is it a good idea or not? It's much more from the perspective of, is it feasible for the community that you're wanting to put it in? Is it going, we want you to be as successful as possible and think about all of the different risks and things that could happen. Like everyone else on this call that works with in the entrepreneurial service world, we can't take away all of the risk when you're looking to start or grow your business, but we definitely want to help mitigate as much of it as possible. So you can come in, we will help people construct their business plans. We will not write it for you, but we will help wordsmith it, is what I like to say, and make it really sound thoroughly thought out and whatnot. Another part with some of that planning is our market research, and I'll touch on that in just a minute. But also helping people walk through everyone's favorite part, the financial planning, and looking at, if you do need a loan to get started or to grow, what type of loan should you be considering? What type of loan could you actually qualify for? Putting together those financial projections so that you have the most feasible and realistic idea of what your business could really do. We don't want people, think we're kind of, I would say we're not negative Nancy's, but we always are on the cautious side and look much more at, let's kind of underestimate your sales, but overestimate those expenses, because as anyone on here can tell you, there's always something that's going to pop up that nobody could have expected, AKA COVID-19. So helping people to put those things together, and not only just put them together, but also kind of empower the entrepreneurs to better understand what those numbers actually mean and what they look like, and how they impact the business. We'll also help with, what type of marketing should you be pursuing, different management aspects. And then something that's new in the past about 8 to 9 months is we have added what we're calling our specialty services to the organization. There are certain things that we don't consult on when it comes to legal aspects, in-depth tax types of questions. And, human resources is just a huge, huge thing. So we have actually contracted with different entrepreneurs themselves across the state that will work directly on key issues like that with clients, also for no fee. So we have a few HR specialists. We have quite a few social media marketing specialists. We have quite a few accounting specialists, and we're adding more and more each day. So we hope that we're able to answer all of those questions that anyone may have as they're getting started or trying to grow or trying to make those business decisions. As I mentioned, along with the consulting, we also have our market research services, which are, again, no charge as a client. This is really in-depth research. Companies like Nike use this sort of information. And it just helps you better understand your target customer and the key demographics of the area, what your location looks like, what are those traffic patterns look like. For businesses that are growing and trying to expand, if you're looking at, should I go into this community or this community, we're able to kind of look at the one that you're already in and look at a match and see which one may also be the best fit for you. So we've also hired another market research specialist within the office, and he has about, I feel like 30 years of experience doing this and has come up with some really great tools that we're able to share with our clients for no fee. And one of the last things is this is one of my key roles, is offering different programming and educational content throughout the year on different topics. So obviously right now, we're slowly getting back into, some locations are doing in person. Some of us are still fully virtual. We are running about 2 webinars a week still out of Little Rock, again, on a variety of topics. We've done website in a day. There's QuickBooks classes, tons of marketing classes. We did an HR series a few months ago, just because, again, it's so broad that we wanted to break it out into bite-sized pieces to where it was a little bit easier for everyone to understand. And so we really try to listen to our clients, and I listen to people on conversations like this about what is that information, what are those questions that you're getting, and if we can't find an expert to present on it, we're all kind of nerdy, and we will learn it all and make a presentation for you and be able to share that with you. So we do have a weekly newsletter that goes out outlining all of our personal webinars that are going out from across the state, but also any other partners. If SBA, for instance, has some things, we will share that in our newsletter as well. We just want all of that information to get out to the entrepreneurs, because at the end of the day, I think everyone can agree, we just want everyone to be as successful as possible. Very quick, if you visit our website, it's asbtdc.org. We have tons of free resources on there, a business plan outline. And then probably one of my favorite things are these 3 ebooks that you can download. I'm a checklist person. That license, permit, and tax requirements book has a checklist at the back that just tells you exactly who you need to call, what you need to do, what are those key things just for you to get in business, officially. It uses Little Rock and Pulaski County as an example, but if you are in a different county, you can just replace the county and the city, and then you'll know who to contact. The Funding Your Small Business is also fantastic. It walks you through all of the different funding opportunities that are out there for you, whether it be an SBA loan, a traditional commercial bank loan, a micro loan, whatever it may be. It just kind of helps you, entrepreneurs, feel a little bit more empowered and just, have some know-how. Okay. Whew. Here's my contact information, and I'll drop it in the chat here in a minute when I catch my breath. But please feel free to email or call me anytime. Obviously, I like to talk, and we'll be happy to answer questions or get you in contact with the appropriate office. So, okay, I feel like I'm sweating.
You did a great job. You did a great job, Whitney. And I can attest to Whitney is available at all times of the day, because I'm sure that I've reached out to you at outside of business hours plenty of time.
But that's fine. I like talking.
And I agree with the checklist. That's something, if I ever start a small business, that's what I think, is to be able to just check things off and make sure I got it done. Thanks so much, Whitney. Next, we're going to bring in the Arkansas Small Business Administration. And I believe we have Jerry Talbert on to talk. Hey, Jerry, how are you?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you?
Doing great. And I'm going to turn it over to you and let you go.
All right. I'm going to see if I don't dork this up. Just a moment. Okay. Do you see the screen yet?
I do not yet, but I'll let you know when I do.
Think I got it.
I bet you're working off 2 monitors. There you go, Jerry. You got it.
I have 3.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot to control. You're good to go.
Great. Thank you so very much. So my name is Jerry Talbert. I'm the Deputy District Director for the Small Business Administration, Arkansas District Office located on Riverfront Drive in downtown Little Rock. And I want to thank you and everybody else who's taken the time out of their day today to participate. I've been here roughly about, it's been over a little over a year, May 1st of last year. And so I'm fairly new, not new to Arkansas, but I'm new to the SBA. I'm a transfer from the Department of Defense, working in contracting and small business. And so I transferred here to continue that mission and really get to where I think I need to be, which is where the rubber meets the road and supporting our businesses. So here at the SBA Arkansas District Office, our mission really is to empower the small business owners and entrepreneurs with access to capital, valuable resources, business know-how, and we also provide the right expertise to ignite change and spark action so small businesses and entrepreneurs can grow, expand, and recover. So we do this by providing these 3 primary core functions. It's important to understand that the SBA is a federal government agency. We are the only cabinet level agency that is fully dedicated to small business. We promote job growth and a stronger economy by advocating for and supporting our small businesses. So what do? Pillar 1 primarily is we provide access to capital. We provide loan guarantee up to 85%. Lately, with the pandemic, we have been providing direct support with payroll protection program, economic injury loan, SBA loan debt relief, exporting assistance, and surety bonding, which is really important, especially for our small business construction firms in the state. We work with our community partners. We have over 1,400 resource partners throughout the country that are funded by the SBA to provide free business counseling and training, many of which are on this event today. So thank you very much for what you do. We also work with PTAC, SCORE, Chambers of Commerce, and our elected officials. And another part of our pillar is government contracting. We advocate for small business navigating what I like to call government contracting as a quagmire, because it's extremely difficult to navigate if you do not know what you're doing. Every business starts with a dream. That's why we are here, all of us supporting small businesses. But turning that dream into reality, though, requires confidence, requires grit, knowledge, and most of all, funding. No matter what stage in the business life cycle, the SBA is there to provide direct support. So we provide support by providing access to funding, obviously, through several lending programs for various uses. that meets business needs. Not every business has the same needs or requirement. I really like this slide because it really shows an overview of what is available to a business. So SBA guaranteed loans, we can provide from $500 all the way up to 5.5 million, and we can guarantee up to 85% of the loan valuation. Not a lot of businesses want 5.5 million. So here in this state, our target market is generally between 500 to roughly about 2 million, depending on the business. Some loan programs do set restrictions, though, on how much you can use the funds. We also provide small businesses with a listing of who our approved SBA lenders are throughout the state. We also provide disaster assistance loans for these 6 categories. And during the pandemic, a lot of it has to do also with economic injury, which has to do with natural disasters and also of loss of income due to the pandemic. So an interesting slide here is what have we done here at the Arkansas District Office to support our small business and entrepreneurs with COVID relief. We've been extremely active in this area, providing information and also sources of lending for PPP, economic injury, and also now we're dealing with the debt relief for existing SBA loans. So what does this look like? So during the pandemic, overall, it was a historic success across the nation, helping 5.2 million small businesses that received direct support and had a retention rate of 51 million American workers retained. So zero into that during fiscal year 20 in Arkansas, our aggregate COVID loan amounts totaled 4.5 billion here in this state with 379,000 job retention rate. This year, fiscal year 21, the latest round of personal payroll protection, which is called the Economic Aid Act, we have assisted in $5.9 billion in loans to small businesses. And we're also working with these businesses on forgiveness as well. We work with our resource partners. We have many resource partners. As that slide said, we had over 1,400 resource partners. And you can see who those resource partners are at the bottom of our screen. Unfortunately, the screen is not big enough to list all of our resource partners. We also work with Veteran Business Outreach, also known as VBAC. We also work with other partners here in Arkansas Development Commission, Startup Junkie, and also Delta Owned. And we're always looking for new partners. But really what the SBA does as a whole is we're a major facilitator. As we work with our small businesses, we tend to really get into the weeds with them at times. This is not an area where we really want to be. It's just the necessity of what we need to do. So oftentimes we will refer the businesses to our resource partners to provide these resources and allows them to get that better care. We don't have time all the time to provide that level of care. So we refer to our resource partners to do that so we can focus on the bigger things. We also are heavily involved in government contracting. The SBA, we negotiate with 24 federal agencies to award at least 23% of all prime government contracting dollars each year to small businesses. Our flagship program is our 8A Business Development Program. We are also involved with the Hub Zone, Women-Owned Small Business Program, and also the Service Disabled Veteran Owned Program. This year, we've seen a major change to all of these programs, but really the Women-Owned Small Business Program certification has changed from self-certification to an actual SBA certified program. And service disabled veteran-owned businesses now are going to be required to also certify as a similar process like we did with the WSBs for service disabled certification. And we're also going to be relying pretty heavily on our resource partners to help us with that. So we help evaluate the readiness of our small businesses by really improving their marketability, helping them with their structure and their experience, providing them systems and capacity and the ability to find contracts. The 8A business development program is an active business development program. I work hand in hand with our firms who are in our program. We have 13 firms right now. It's a mix of service industries and construction firms. And we will actually help them conduct business development with our federal agencies here in this state. Last year, within by the time I got on ground here in end of April, first part of May, through the end of August, we secured over $8 million of sole source set aside to our 8A firms. And we're already past that mark this year, and we're just halfway through the year. So anything we can do to help those businesses, we're going to do it. Whether that's be, setting up matchmaking sessions or writing capability letters on their behalf, doing the sole source negotiations and facilitating for them. We're going to do whatever we can for them. So with that, my name is Jerry Talbert. I'm with the Arkansas Small Business Administration. This is my contact information. Unfortunately, I can't talk about all of our programs because I'd literally be talking to you for about 2 hours. So this is it in a nutshell. And so I'm going to try to stop sharing my screen as I figure that out.
I got you, Jerry.
Okay, good.
And Jerry, thank you so much. I agree that all of these presentations are obviously just tiny little bits of what all of these organizations do, but we hope that this at least gives you an opportunity to understand that broad general scope and give you the contact. So Jerry obviously is a huge resource, and we hope that you reach out to him, and we'll give his contact information obviously in our follow-up email. Thank you so much for being with us, Jerry. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, everybody.
So we're going to move right along to, actually, it's the Arkansas Department of Heritage, the Historic Preservation Program, and Main Street, Arkansas. But we got Greg Phillips on with us to talk a little bit about their programs. And so, Greg, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Shelby. Let me see if I can get this to work here. All right. Is that up?
It is.
Great, thank you. Well, thanks again for inviting me to be a part of this. My name is Greg Phillips, and I'm the director of Main Street, Arkansas. And as you can see there, we are a program of the Arkansas Historic Preservation Program, which is housed in the Division of Arkansas Heritage, which is part of the Department of Parks, Heritage, and Tourism. So that's a mouthful, but I was scrolling through the attendees and I noticed a lot of familiar faces and names. So I think, or I hope, most of you on here have heard of Main Street, Arkansas and know what we do, but I'm going to assume that that is not the case. So just bear with me here, but we are a preservation-based economic development program focused on downtown and commercial district revitalization in communities across Arkansas. We have been doing this now for 37 years, and we currently work with 40 programs. And I've got a map that I'll show you here in a minute. We are part of Main Street America, which is a national organization. That is a program of the National Main Street Center, which is a subsidiary of the National Trust for Historic Preservation. So Main Street, Arkansas is a coordinating program, which means we coordinate with programs within our state. But there are about 40 coordinating programs all across the country. Most of them are state-based, but there are some citywide programs like Boston, Orlando, Washington, DC, and so forth. But with a total of about 1,300 communities that are following the Main Street approach and doing what we do. So the communities that are part of our program are are certainly connected with us, but they're connected nationally, which is a really cool thing. We were created in 1984 with the help of 3 organizations: the Arkansas Historic Preservation Program, which is, as I mentioned, where we are housed, but also the Arkansas Economic Development Commission and Preserve Arkansas. Most of you probably have not heard of Preserve Arkansas, but they are the statewide nonprofit historic preservation advocacy group that does really, really good work. We are funded by the real estate transfer tax, which is an interesting funding mechanism for us. We are not a line item in the state budget, which I think is good for us. So anytime property is purchased or sold, a little bit of that money trickles down to us, and we're very fortunate to have that. We joined the national network in the same year that we were established. So we joined the national network in '84. In 2005, we established a entry-level tier called the Arkansas Downtown Network. So all programs come into our program as a network community. And then if they so desire at some point that is good for the community, good for the organization, they can opt to pursue designated Main Street status. So we have designated Main Street programs and downtown network programs. And I mentioned we work all across the state. Currently, we work with 40 programs. 21 of those are designated Main Street programs and 19 are part of the network. And there's a little graphic just to show you our presence across the state. And it's pretty much from one corner to the other. Let's see, there's some photos there. Southern Mercantile, those of you from Northwest Arkansas, that may look familiar to you, that's in Prairie Grove, and they are a network program. The picture below is a brand new brewery in Camden, and they are also a fairly new network program. And then top right is Argenta. A lot of you in Central Arkansas, that probably looks familiar to you. You may have even attended one of their outdoor dining events, but that is downtown Argenta. And then back to Northwest Arkansas, Ivorybill Brewing in downtown Siloam Springs. So the services that we provide are pretty extensive. We have a staff of 4, myself. We have a small business consultant and grants coordinator, Mark Miller. We have an interior design consultant. Her name is Susan Shaddix. And then exterior design consultant is Hannah Ratzlaff. And those 3 folks really work one-on-one with small businesses and property owners within our any of our downtown organizations. The services they provide run the gamut and are pretty varied. Certainly, Hannah, who is the exterior design consultant, provides a lot of renderings for business owners, for property owners wanting to make changes to the exterior of their building. And then Susan, obviously, she works with anything dealing with the interior. Excuse me. And then Mark Miller, it's all about the business practice itself. Maybe somebody's wanting to open a business, Mark will consult with them and then probably refer them to some of the people that have already spoken today to get some more detailed assistance. We just provide general technical assistance and consultations. We provide trainings for all of the local staff members with our Main Street programs. We do a biennial Main Street Arkansas Awards program that's in conjunction with the Arkansas Municipal League. All of our designated programs go through annual assessments, and that determines whether they are accredited or not for that year. Anytime we have a new director to come on board, we do a new director orientation. We do a lot of organizational visits, which basically deals with operation, board and volunteer development and things like that. We also provide grants to all of our programs. Being part of state government, that is never something that is we never know for sure if we're going to have it until it's about time to award them. So it's not anything that's ever guaranteed. But we have been fortunate enough to be able to, and during my tenure, and I've been with Main Street for 24 years, I believe there was only 1 year that we were not able to provide grants to our program. So in fiscal year 2022, we will be awarding $559,000 in grants to all of our programs. Our network programs will receive $3,000, and our designated Main Street programs will be receiving anywhere from $20,000 to $25,000. And that just depends on how many businesses are in their downtown district. So obviously, if you're receiving $25,000, you'd have over 100 is how we divided that up. And so those monies can be used for a variety of things, but typically they go to some sort of building improvement grant program that the local program administers. Any type of physical improvements in the downtown. If there's a streetscape project going on, then the local program may buy trash receptacles or banners or street furniture, things like that. This past year, a lot of that money went for COVID relief for our small businesses. Our local programs really stepped up to the plate and funneled a lot of that money directly into businesses paying for rent or utility bills and things like that, just to help those businesses stay afloat. All of our I meant to mention, all of our services are free of charge to any of the businesses or property owners that are in the designated program area of our community. So, which is a really, really good benefit. A lot of these businesses could not afford, if they had to go out and pay for an architect or someone to do a rendering for their building, or consult with interior design or what have you. It's just an expense that they don't have to incur if they're located within the downtown district of their community. And that's it. I know we're running short on time, so that's just scratching the surface, as Shelby said earlier, but there is my contact information. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions. If you live in a community that might be interested, or you're working with a community that's shown interest, reach out. I'd be happy to talk with you, maybe even come visit and talk with community folks about our program and what we offer. So thank you.
Thank you, Greg. And I want to say that was actually a picture of Greg, that little kid with their hand raised. Very eagerly. No, I'm just kidding.
I wish.
But I want to say that the Downtown Network program is a great, like Greg said, stepping stone into a full-fledged Main Street program. Many of the communities we work with go through a strategic planning process, and one of their goals is to achieve that Downtown Network status. And they're really, really great. Really great program to be a part of, and Greg and his team are fantastic resources. Thanks so much, Greg, for speaking with us. And like he said, we're getting close to our time. We're going to go a little bit over 11 because we have 2 more speakers, but I think everybody will hopefully be okay with that. If you do have to hop off, we are recording, so don't worry, you can come back and watch the end if you need to, and we're still going to take questions at the end as well. With that, I'm going to move over to Startup Junkie, who we mentioned a little bit earlier when we were talking to the conductor. I believe we have Morgan Schultz and Taylor Hosley on the call, or on the Zoom with us, and I'll turn it over to Morgan and Taylor.
Awesome. Thank you, Shelby. And I actually love going towards the end of the program because I get to kind of tie together how complementary all of these resources are for entrepreneurs in the state of Arkansas. So Greg, great to see you, Greg. I cut my teeth in economic development working with Main Street Siloam Springs. So love the Main Street Arkansas program so much. But one of the businesses that he just highlighted was Ivory Bill Brewing in Siloam Springs, where I did spend some time yesterday. Strictly business, strictly business. But they came to us as a client with an initial idea. Then they also worked very closely through the whole process with the ASBTDC and with Main Street Arkansas. And so, for people who are on this call, you may be hearing, like, oh, consulting and support and advising, and these services are all very complementary. And I think that's a huge strength of this state, is that we are, I think, just excessively collaborative, and we none of these services are duplicative, but they collaborate. So what we do at Startup Junkie Foundation, Grace Rains at the beginning really depicted excellently all of our services. And so they're the conductors in Central Arkansas. We're in Northwest Arkansas. So our service region is the Northwest Arkansas Economic Development District. So all the way up flush with Oklahoma, Benton, Washington counties, and then all the way east over to Baxter, Marion, and Searcy counties. And so that's our service area. In terms of what we do, our programming and support is very similar to the conductor. So our mission is to improve lives by empowering entrepreneurship and innovation. And we do that through one-on-one consulting, through a very high cadence of programming and events. So we consult with about 1,000 entrepreneurs a year, and we facilitate about 200 events a year. And these events are designed to, of course, educate entrepreneurs. So, hiring best practices for, interview questions you can't ask, for small businesses and startups, to tax tips, to social media strategies. They're also designed to elevate the entrepreneurial community and to really help bring this cohesion and bring it to the attention of the broader community. And then finally, they're designed to inspire and equip startups. And so the greatest resource that so many entrepreneurs have is one another. And so we provide lots of context for entrepreneurs to learn from one another's experiences. And then we finally serve as sort of that top of the funnel for a lot of businesses. So we'll meet with people typically in the first 5 years of existence, under 10 million in revenue is sort of our client range. But that could be anyone from ideation phase. So I woke up this morning and I've got this great idea about a life-changing product and I want to know what it looks like to take it to market. We'll help run some water through that for you and then direct you to the best community partner or resources that we have internally on our own team. So we serve in that capacity as sort of an unofficial advisory board. So we're going to give you feedback, strategies, tips, structure, and support. And we are not related to you or married to you. So that's good, unbiased feedback. And then we also serve as sort of a switchboard of sorts. So we try to connect startups and the entrepreneurs with the most strategic resources for where they're at and what they need. So I'm going to quickly highlight a few of our programs and events. So we manage the Kiva Hub of Northwest Arkansas, and this is, Kiva is a nonprofit that expands access to capital for entrepreneurs around the world by providing no fee, no interest loans, primarily for women and minority entrepreneurs. And these range from $500 to $15,000. So we manage the Northwest Arkansas Kiva Hub, and the conductor manages the Central Arkansas one. We also facilitate an SBA-SPTR funding program called Science Venture Studio. And so through this program, our intent is to increase the number of fully funded SBIR and STTR applications in the state of Arkansas. So we help tech companies that have innovative processes, ideas, or products actually prepare these grant applications, and we have a grant writer as a part of this program to submit them. And we've had great success with this program already. Submitting, I think last year we submitted several applications, and several of them were stage 1 and then stage 2 funded. And then finally, we facilitate a fuel accelerator program. And the fuel accelerator is Arkansas's only AI, artificial intelligence accelerator program. So we recruit companies from around the globe and invite them to Northwest Arkansas. They're required to actually come here. I got a little dicey last year during COVID. Some of them stayed, some of them had to go home. But to come to Northwest Arkansas for 12 weeks, where we run them through a really rigorous accelerator that includes education, access to mentors, and then prepare them for a demo day where they pitch their company's to representatives from some of the larger Fortune 500 companies in the area. The result of that program has been several funded companies, and then several of them relocating their headquarters to Northwest Arkansas, which of course brings about a lot of job growth. So I know I'm at the end, so I'm wanting to rush a little bit here. But Taylor, if there's anything else you wanted to chime in on, please do. Other than that, we've got here under our resources page several a video library of resources that we've recorded as well, and then we've also got a podcast. So if you ever just want to hear more startup stories, we've got a very productive podcast as well.
Yep, that hits it all, Morgan. Thank you. And we are actively recruiting those AI startups. So if you know any in your network, please send them my way.
Morgan and Taylor, thanks so much for sharing. And again, we are going to provide everyone's contact information. So you're going to have that as soon as this event is over, probably tomorrow in the video as well. So we're going to close out before we see if there's any questions. We have one more speaker. We have Christy Carter. Christy wears a lot of hats. She's in the Division of Outreach and Community Engagement with our team at UCA. She also serves at the University of Central Arkansas as the Minority Vendor Partnership Committee. And Christy has also worked in the entrepreneurial space as well, like I said, wearing those other hats. So with that, Christy, I'm going to transition over to you and let you share some of the resources that you're going to provide.
Thanks, everybody. And again, Shelby, I appreciate the invitation, and thanks to everybody for staying until the end. So yes, I'm Christy Carter, Director of Marketing for Outreach and Community Engagement at UCA. And I'm here really representing our Minority Vendor Partnership Initiative here. So why do we do what we do? Well, we saw that there was a need for more minority vendors to conduct business with the university. So we established this committee back in 2014. So our whole purpose is really surrounding the law, which is the Arkansas Act 1080 that Esperanza talked about earlier, that requires state entities to conduct at least 15% of its contracts or business with minority vendors. And so we established this committee to do that. Essentially, we put together some training opportunities for minority vendors. We just conducted our last 3 workshops in our series, our virtual series. We had a workshop on e-commerce, one on solopreneurship, and also side hustling or starting side businesses. We rely upon all of you, many of you who are on the call. We rely on partnerships with you all to be able to conduct those educational workshops and to offer the information to those minorities. And again, our definition of minority matches the one from the state. So women, ethnic minorities, and also service disabled veterans. So again, this year we decided we would do something, well, actually last year we decided to do something a little bit different because we started spending more time with the entrepreneurs and some of our partners, and determined that there was a need for more research. So we were actually commissioned to conduct a study on the women of color business owners and entrepreneurs in Arkansas. Some of you may be familiar with that study that actually looked at how women of color navigate the entrepreneurial ecosystem in the state. And those outcomes are really pretty enlightening. One thing we know about women of color or people of color, entrepreneurs trying to conduct business in the state, one huge barrier is access to capital. But this particular study found that women of color still perceive racial bias and discrimination as a serious barrier to their business development. So with that in mind, we just continue to work with our partners, and actually the Women's Foundation of Arkansas, because of this study, they've launched this economic empowerment hub. So we hope that whatever we do through our Minority Vendor Partnership Initiative at UCA lends itself to create an inclusive entrepreneurial ecosystem that is mindful of all people, all colors, ethnicities, and abilities. So if you're interested in knowing more about what we do, simply visit our website, uca.edu/diversity/MVPI, and you can learn a little bit more about what we do. And the committee members are all listed here: Dr. Barnes, myself, Dr. Ely, Cassandra McEwen, and Megan Payne over in the purchasing office, Rule Shepherd here in outreach, and then our AVP for diversity and inclusion at the university, Dr. Angela Webster. So again, that's just a big summary, just a nutshell. Thank you all for all you do, your ecosystem building, and I appreciate your support. Thanks, Shelby.
Christy. Thank you. And Christy, I put the website link in the chat, so everybody's got that. And again, we will share everybody's contact information in a follow-up email, the recording. And we actually stole the conductor's resource guide that actually has tons of information and resources about entrepreneurial support organizations across the state. So we don't reinvent the wheel. So we just used a resource that was already taken. And we also want to say this is not obviously an exhaustive list of all of the supportive resources for businesses across the state. We really tried to focus on those organizations that covered big swaths of the state, but there are so many more. The Windrock International has lots of great resources. Tons of our other partners across the state do as well. So we do want to encourage you to look over that resource guide. That's going to list a lot of those other resources when we send it out. With that, I know we've gone a little bit past 11, but does anybody have any questions for our speakers or questions about anything that you learned today? I think that we covered, there were a few questions in the chat that we were able to answer in the chat. Okay, all right, no takers. I have my moment of silence to see if anybody spoke out. Well, thank you everybody for attending today. This will be our last community conversation until the fall, but we do plan to restart this up. Our team is transitioning to Community Development Institute CDI mode. So we're 100% focused on that after this. Yes, claps, Tandy. Yes, we're very excited after having canceled last year, but we will reconvene our partners this summer and start developing some programming. If you do have any ideas about any topics that you want to learn about through community conversations, please reach out to me and my staff, or Tandy, the ASU Delta Center, or the Community Development Regional Managers across the state with AADC. Please let us know if you need anything. And if there's anything you want us to dive a little bit deeper to in these conversations. All right, with that, we'll see you probably somewhere else across the state, but if not, we'll see you in the fall when we restart these community conversations. Thank you all. Have a great day.